Steve Gamache here with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and this time we're looking at the Kanehide Ps60 Santoku 180mm knife. This line of knives has a core steel of what Kanehide calls pure steel 60. The heat treated about 60 Rockwell. It is a stainless steel. What they do is take Hitachi Gin 5 base steel and they cryogenically treat it to enhance edge retention and also let them treat it a little bit harder. So the reports from some of the pro chefs and cooks and such that have been using it have given pretty high marks on edge retention. So they really like the steel. Plus it's pretty easy to sharpen as well. It sharpens nicely. The construction is mono steel, so it's all the same composition. There's no cladding or layers. It's all one steel. Weight is about 170 grams or 6 ounces, and the overall length is, or the edge length, excuse me, it's right about 180, which is about 7 inches, slightly over, and the overall length just a little under a foot. The spine thickness, these are fairly thin knives and they're high performance. So this one's about 2.1 millimeter coming out of the bolster, and it holds that, and then about the front third of the blade it starts to taper down, and it tapers down to a nice thin point. So these have high performance tips on them. The blade height is about 48 millimeters, so it's got some generous height for lots of board clearance. The handles on these are, I guess, maybe pretty average for this style of knife. They're not super slim. They're not super big either. Fairly rounded, curves and contours to them. A really nice fit and finish on the rivets, the bolster, the tang, the spine, the choil. So these are one of the hallmarks of this line is the fit and finish on these. Handle is just a kind of a no frills, nice looking brown stabilized wood known as pack of wood. So it's resin impregnated. Here's what your blade looks like. You've got chiseled not chiseled, but you've got screened on kanji and logo. And the right side of the blade tends to have a little bit of a polished component that curves down towards the edge. So it's a little bit of a thinning component on the right side of the blade. Left side of the blade does not have that. It just goes right to the edge bevel. These are quite sharp out of the box. These are generally, I'll give them a good 6 out of 10. They're very sharp out of the box and pretty much ready to roll. Like I said, very comfortable, real nice fit and finish on the entire blade. Again, high value line of knives. And this is one of the better performing Santokus I've used. I've used quite a few, and I'll say this is pretty darn good. It's quite good on the performance. The tip's real nice. Not a ton of non-stick performance, but pretty good for a blade of this style, given the type of finish that it is and no texturing, and it's not a super thick blade. It does quite well. Balance point. Back off our focus a little bit here. Balance point is just right there, just where the bolster starts to go into the blade. Let's look at the profile on our board. This is just a really nice Santoku. One of the cool things about it is you get a little bit more length at a 180 than you do on a shorter one like a 165. So there's your profile, a little bit of flat towards the heel. I can get about right there before I start digging in, and that's what it looks like. So real nice curvy to a little flat, real smooth profile. These are just really nice line of knives. High value, represent a lot of performance and value for the money. So there you have the Kanehide Ps60 Santoku 180mm knife.